All right, what's good? What's good? Hallelujah. You know what that means? Praise Yah, the most High. If you don't know who Yah is, you need to check it out. Look in the Bible right now. That means praise the self-existing one, the creator, the beginner and end of life, the Alpha and Omega. Here at Coughfee Shoppe Radio, what we're doing today for Social Substance TV, we're going to be talking about family issues with the life of teenagers here in today of 2017 and the life of a single mother and how powerful a single mother can be as a black mother in today's society and how it can affect the world today when we come as unity. So we're going to go over these couple of topics. I'm going to introduce myself. You already know it's DJ Quartermain in the building. We got Mercedes. You met her our last episode, our second episode. And this is daughter. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Taylor Scott.
Taylor Scott. So we're going to go a couple of topics and everything, you know what I'm saying? Taylor, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and explain your age and everything to the world and shout out to all your friends, who you are and, you know, whatnot.
I'm 14. I like to do art and volleyball, and I'm just a chill, mellow person.
Gotcha. Now, some of the topics we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about as far as life and pressure as far as a teenager. You know, and seeing how old you are today, you know, you say you're how old again?
14.
14. Now, being that you're 14 years old today, do you think social media can impact the life and, you know, in a negative or positive way? What can, you know, how can I say, how they say nowadays, I see our teens are doing suicide or they're acting, you know, doing wild and out things. How do you feel about social media and how it impacts young teens today?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. If you think things such as posting stuff that can impact somebody's life, such as cyberbullying, is just a big impact on things that happen in daily life.
Great. Understood. Now, with you in social media, have you ever had any cyberbullying going on in your life?
No, because I really don't conflict on those bad habits or try to annoy or agitate anyone. I post good stuff and not try to intimidate anyone to make them want to bully or be mean to me.
Understood. Now, in your school, do you think that, you know what I'm saying, that it's very, as being a teenager, that, you know, validation and social media is highly, you know what I'm saying, pushed on in your school in the unseen without parental vision?
Well, if you think about it, at my school, many people think, oh, this girl's wearing this. If she doesn't like this, then I don't like it either. I'm a person who does it on my own style. Like my freckles, I do it by myself. People might think it's ugly, but it's all about what I think it looks like. It's not about what nobody else thinks like. I have my own style, they have their own.
Gotcha. So the whole trend thing. So you more of a leader when it comes instead of more of a follower in that thing. Now in school, you know, they have, you know, they got the thing with trends, you know, like, you know, and how they have with styles and whatnot. Do you think, does that greatly impact you in life? Do you feel like if you're not dressing that certain style, does your social status get impacted in life in school?
No, I don't think so.
Gotcha. Understood. Now, you as a mother, raising a daughter and a teen, how do you feel with your daughter growing up being a young teenager and adult?
I think she's doing good. She's on the right path. She can use a little more work in one of her subjects in school, but I think she's got the gist of what's important. I think she's got the gist of what morals are. She's got a gist of planning what she wants out of life and understanding what to do to get it. And in the right fashion, you know. I think she's got good self-esteem. She communicates pretty well, you know. She's not intimidated by anything or anyone. She's an individual, and that's what I appreciate most about her. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, I have an older daughter, and both of them are completely night and day. So, you know, I've experienced the other spin of it. But in the same respect, it's a journey. I can say it wasn't easy, but I enjoyed every minute of it. I was a full participant.
And you are shall we say, a single parent, raising how many, is it 2 or 3 kids?
2.
2 kids, 2 girls.
17 and my baby girl is 14.
Now, give us some insight on, you know, as far as being a mother raising teenage girls and with technology today and how it is today and how it's impactful, like we see on Instagram and how all the things we've been talking about.
Jesus. It's too much to keep up with now.
You know, do you track your daughters or things like that in nature, or do you know, or should I say,
yes and no. Yes and no. I don't do any moment. I haven't had Carl's to. You know, my oldest, that may be. I should have put her on digital. I don't know. But, I don't feel the need with that. Usually, my children are out from me. I've spoken with, I've met, and identified an adult. What people live. Most times at night, I appreciate it when the kids come over to my house. It's easier for me. And yes, I eavesdrop. I'm nosy. I want to be on Facebook. I want to be on the Instagram. I want to be on the Snapchat. And what's the new one then?
Twitter?
Twitter's
I don't
on.
have one.
But
you got a lot. Yeah, you got a lot of them.
And then now the music is so trashy. You got to pay attention to that. And then, you know, after you hear the crazy stuff, it's like, well, what did that mean?
Gotcha. Now, how do you feel as far as being a teenager and being on and seeing Instagram and everything? You know, sex is being exploited a lot. You got, you know, you see it and you hear in the rap music how they talk, you know, the Instagram models. When you talk Instagram models, you're basically talking about social media girls putting themselves up for prostitution on the internet. How do you feel as a woman, a young woman of this new generation and age, and you seeing young girls on social media doing these things? How do you feel that pushes on you when you're putting up pictures and posts and you see people liking?
Well, if you think about it, they're basically setting something for society saying, oh, you won't be accepted if you don't do this. They're exploiting themselves, making it saying, oh, all girls would do this, all girls would do that. When really everybody has a different point of view on everything.
Beautiful, beautiful. You being a teenager as far as well in life and going to school, how does it feel, you know what I'm saying, being a student, a young black student growing up in Nashville, going to school with the pressures and the everyday trials and tribulations of a teenager? What are some of those things you want to get out to some of those young kids that's going to be teenagers one day and what to expect as far as a young female tween?
You're going to have to do more work. You're going to have to put in effort. If you want to do anything, you got to put in effort. If you don't put in effort, you won't be able to do anything that you want to do. Such as if you want to have a job, you got to have good grades. You got to focus more. You have to think about intellect. You got to think about everything you do. Because everything's like a kingdom. You can take one block off and everything will fall.
Oh, wow.
So you have to think about it. If something happens in the past, it can possibly affect your future.
You got a very intelligent young daughter here. Listen to the head on this child.
We talk. Just like I let my kids know. You know, hey, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that.
And what's your favorite artist you have? What kind of music you like?
Beyonce, I like hip hop.
You like Beyonce, like hip hop and everything. Okay, what's your favorite hip hop artist?
It's hard to choose from. You have The Neighborhood and you have Beyonce.
The Neighborhood. So that's an artist that's trending now. So we want to get him on Coughfee Shoppe Radio because we actually don't got The Neighborhood. Now we're going to look that cat up now. What other artists is trending now with teens nowadays that you may know of? Or if you know of any independent local artists you may want to shout out to that's in your school.
Ooh, you have Young Thug. You have.
You like Young Thug? Girl, don't you know he gay?
It doesn't affect me.
See, that's how you know you a real artist, though. That's how you know you a real artist lover. You like him no matter what. You a true fan. That's real. Go ahead, good love on that.
You have Lil Uzi Vert.
Uzi Vert, yeah, he good. He got skills. Okay.
And you have my favorite, Bruno Mars.
Oh, you like Bruno Mars? Hey, now I gotta admit, that man's album, straight 80s. What you think about the album, Mercedes? I mean, like, that was a throwback.
24.
You want it like a flashback? I mean, that was a complete flashback on that whole entire album. It was, you know, I think I really did like the sound. It's missed. It's definitely something that should come back into the sound of music and R&B.
The message is missed in the music today.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
The message is gone. I mean, we learned a lot from our music. We learned a lot. We learned about current events. We learned about growing up, dealing with people, having fun. You know, we learned about friends.
That's true.
Sex, protecting
Man,
ourselves from
yes,
certain-
I did.
it's
I
a
was
lot
kind of
of
scared about asking
lot
that
of different
question.
things, but you know, it was a message in there, and it gave us different scenarios, and it kind of like guided us on a better path. You know, whereas now we ain't talking about nothing.
So, do y'all share a music relationship, you and your daughter?
Sometimes we could be on the same edge. Sometimes we can't. Just as the song "Sweater Weather" by the Neighborhood, she loves that song when I showed it to her.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
Now, speaking in terms of, I know, and you going through the life with these two beautiful young ladies. I know the life of the birds and the bees had to come into conversation with them. Do y'all have a strong conversation, relationship when it comes to that topic or whatnot? Or do y'all kind of keep it close until that day comes? Or do you teach them early?
No, we talk about it. I mean, it's something my aunt think is funny, but you know, since my little girls, when they were little girls, I mean, it was high scrutiny when it came to them. You know, I don't care whoever was babysitting with them. When I got them home, I stripped them down. I want to see, you know, are you looking okay? You know, and then let them know, you know, nobody's supposed to be rubbing your shoulders, touching you too much right here. And if it ain't food, it don't go in your mouth. You can feed yourself.
Mom, you remember that story that Auntie told us about?
Go ahead, tell us.
One time we were on that trip, and my auntie, she was giving me a hug. You know, one of those old school hugs where they pat you on the butt?
Mm-hmm.
When she pat me on my butt, I took it a whole different way. My mom said if somebody touched you or anything, in my mind, I started to freak out. I was like, oh, she touched me. And I thought I was freaking out in my mind, but I started freaking out. And my auntie got scared. She started calling my mom. She said, okay, Taylor's freaking out. All I did was pat her on the butt when I gave her a hug. And my mom said, if someone touch you, you need to tell
them on
me.
their butt.
Gotcha. Now, as far as, are you dating at your age at this time? So you're being the smart girl waiting to college and all that good stuff. Good woman. See, now the reason why I asked that because I know it's about you being so. Usually it takes the influence of both two parents to raise an educated young child, and for you to be a child without a father in home. What is your personal feelings upon that, if I may ask? For all the teens out there who struggle that don't have a father out there today. Looking up to your mother as your source and your rock and your inspiration. Being that child without a father in their immediate home. Not saying your father's not in your life, but in that immediate home. How does that feel to you?
It just feels, I would just say mutual. It's not like it's that bad as long as you have someone by your side. It feels like you're not alone because you already have someone by your side. Just because one missing doesn't mean you don't have nobody else by your side. So either way, you don't need one person in your life to make no one on your side.
That's beautiful. Okay, I understand. So now for young kids out there today that don't have that parent, that father or that mother in their life, what did you do to get through? I know you said you had to have someone at your side. So I'm assuming communication and conversation, expressing yourself was very vital. So I'm assuming you're saying trying to keep a communication to your parents is very vital.
Well, you don't. I'm not saying that you don't have to communicate to your parents, but if it's something important that they have to know, you need to tell them. You can kind of share with your friends, make you feel like get off your chest and be conscious of what you're saying, but you also relate to you and help you and make you feel comfortable talking to them.
Understood.
And a lot of talking about communicating with kids, it can be very challenging.
That's what I was going to ask you next. The mother, yes.
It was really challenging with her because all she knew she wanted to grow up. She wants to be grown. She wants to be independent. But, before you can get to that point, you got to create a situation where you're self-sustaining. What your decisions don't bring an impact on the next person. And it can be challenging. Like currently she's decided, she made some choices. And at this point, she's living with her dad for the last 2 years of high school. And as much as I hated to do that, that was my baby. You know,
That's the mother's love. Mother's love.
But I knew in that kind of situation, maybe daddy can get a hold of that. You know, but you know, communication can be very important, but it's so much going on outside of parents communicating with their kids because of the technology. You got the social media communicating things and giving them a picture, and then you got friends at school, and you got outside influences, whether it's a teacher, just outside influences. I think it's important to just be around all the time, be aware who they're around, where they are, what they're doing. For the mom, I think the challenge with teenagers is making that transition, because they're not little kids, they're not babies, but they're not adults. So it's kind of challenging because they're at the point where they're taking on adult things when they do stuff like chores or get a part-time job. But on the other end of the spectrum, they're not independent. They can't shelter themselves. They can't clothe themselves. They can't feed themselves, you know. So it's a tough transition, and it's a point where if you make the wrong decision, it can really set you back for a while.
Gotcha, understood. Now, with that being said, and seeing that you are, that you how powerful your mother is, and through the adversity that she's went through, and seeing the greatness that she's bestowed upon your life, you know.
Oh, don't say it then.
Do you ever? Think about you. Because it's powerful. Because a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters out there. Don't get me wrong. My brothers out there too that are, alone fathers that raise children on their own. But a lot of times people don't give interviews to give respect to the mother, and showing the mother and daughter, and the mother giving the props of her raising on her own, 2, 3, 1, whatever. Especially in today's society and the world that it is today. It's definitely difficult. And the era that's been changing for women, women are now making new breakthroughs there. How do you feel also as a young teen in today's society, seeing that the working class, where almost 60% to 70% of the working class of people that are working are women that are in offices today, or in buildings today, or employment places today? It's definitely increased more than 20 years ago, which I know you weren't living then, but how do you feel in that new age today where there's more opportunity? Do you feel there's more opportunity out there now?
I feel like there is, because of the technology that has been made through the years, such as the computer started off as this, and then it started modifying into something bigger and greater. And now that we have the better modifications of the technology, we're starting not know how to use it right. So everything is starting to we make it look harder than it is.
I think she's coming from a time where when she was born, women were arriving. They've arrived at that.
That's all I was going to ask. I want to get your perspective next.
Looking at the history of women, there was a time, and it wasn't my time, but growing up, just listening to your parents or family members, there was a time where women had it really rough. We had to fight the vote. And it was then a man's, what they called a man's world, but
like
we
literally
were
working.
As maids, nurturers,
sex slaves,
that too. So just a number of things,
And the reason why I asked that question with her first, because I wanted to see what her perspective was as far as in today's society, is that same mind state of a woman being in a prison in today's world, being as it was back then.
In prison in today's world, it's by choice. It's by choice. Because it's women at every level that you want to discuss. It's a woman there holding that position and getting paid for it. It's about what are you willing to deal with? What do you really want? What are you gonna do for it? I can remember times where I didn't know how many of my kids were gonna get through. I remember a time where I was just trying to make it through the day. But it's different when you arrive to a time where you already know what's going down, everything is taken care of, and the stress that you had then you don't have now. It feels very liberating too, because there was a time that women stayed in bad marriages because they did not have sufficient income to take care of themselves, and then as well themselves with children. But this is a time now where you say, you know what? just take off, okay? It's okay. Take on off. I got this. And walk away with some dignity. Walk away with their respect and peace of mind.
So now you being the mother of today, growing from the mother with from both of us from those years ago back when it was harder for women growing up, and seeing her as a future, and hearing her response, how do you feel about her future, how the chance and the rights and the equal and the capability of women today?
When I think about her future, I want her, we talk about college, going to college all the time. We talking about playing a sport. You may can get a scholarship. She plays volleyball or playing an instrument or something like that, because think about kids that talk about getting scholarship for school. How many people on the football team that could be accepted in a college to get a scholarship? Very few. But how many in a band can get a scholarship? You got 100+ people on the doggone field that can get a scholarship, but how many people gonna be picked for a team? You get what I'm saying?
Valid point.
But there's other avenues too, because with her, she didn't. Her creativity wasn't in music; it was more so in visual arts. She likes canvases. She can take a thing of wood. She can take styrofoam. She can take cardboard and make something out of nothing.
So maybe she go into CAT, like IT, and go into CAT, for basically architecture work. That's basically greatly needed for people that need infrastructure and buildings built. Lots of moolah, billions of dollars. I'm serious.
So it's just different avenues, and I let her know that it's important to be a triple threat, to have the grades, to have the arts, and then to have you a sport. That opens up your chances. It just opens, instead of your odds of getting one scholarship is different than the odds of getting 2 scholarships and then 3 scholarships. The more you put yourself in for, the more your odds are gonna be something is gonna pop. But you got to.
Mom said you always gotta have something to fall back on.
Oh, look at that! All right. So what would you have to fall back on if you decide to? What would be your 2 career options and opinions?
It would be my volleyball and my art.
Okay. So you're a right-brained type person. You like sports and creativity. You're a physical person. All right. I'm right-brained. That's why I asked. Now, another thing I wanted to put out too and say as well, as far as for you being the mother, and again a single mother at that, do sometimes you used to feel like wow, man, why did I make a choice to be a single mother? Why did I not stick it through? Do you feel like that? The reason why I asked that, for those mothers out there that are, going through that struggle, that have that fight with themselves, should I work it out with this guy? Should I be on my own? Is it worth it? Can I make it? Someone that say they don't have no faith.
That's just something women go through. It's like the emotional roller coaster, because you want the fairy tale. You want your Prince Charming. You married, you can have the pretty dress, you have the nice party, the happily ever after. The pretty picture. I was married to my children's father, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. And I think I went through that point where I'm trying to work it out for the sake of my kids, but if my mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. It goes that way. And then it's challenging sometimes for the single mothers, because men have a interesting viewpoint with children, very interesting views. And it's amazing because they come with their stuff too.
Yes, okay.
You know, some of them, they got kids. And for the ones that ain't got kids, some of them trying to figure it out. And some of them, they really ain't looking for a mate, they looking for a mama.
And some of them ain't really ready to figure it out.
Exactly. But you know, there are some men out there, but the most interesting thing too is that they slow that down early. And I think because it's more population-wise, more women than there are men.
Yeah, four women to every man.
It has its effect too. And it's challenging being a single mother because all of these men come with these preconceived notions, as if you're looking for something from them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really interesting. But, you know, there are some women out there that needs assistance. But there are a good number of single mothers. The assistance is not the same.
Gotcha.
You know, we're not looking for a place to stay. We're not looking for somebody else's chick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not looking to take, but we are looking for a mate, a helpmate. You know, looking to raise any more by our affections.
Now, a question I want to get from both of y'all. I know I stopped on that, but I just wanted to ask this because it's something that's happened to pop in my head. And I like doing these off-the-wall, open discussions like this because I like to get the woman's perspective because a lot of us men out there like to pick the woman's brain, that want to learn the woman. So I just want to get I'm going to go from the youngest perspective to the oldest perspective. What is your version and what do you think how your thoughts is on guys today, on men today, young men today? You know, what do you feel about them? How do you feel about them as far as the position they hold, their title? What's your perspective, your vision on guys today?
Today's guys are different than the the old version of how males were. Now that guys break the hearts of the good girls, and the good girls turn to different girls, and then hurts the good boy's heart, which turns into a bad boy, and the cycle goes over and over. Boys have changed throughout the course of life into different people. I can say that girls have too, but boys have changed to different, how can I say this, to different, I'm gonna just say, different ways of how they can get girls. Their mindset has changed.
And how do you feel it's changed? Because it's saying like you experienced. I'm assuming you know guys came across before. You're a very young lady, so guys came at you before. So you're saying like what? They're more not as maybe not as respectful, possibly maybe, or they don't put as much effort into it. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what is it you're coming from when you mean by change.
They haven't thought of things. They don't think of what the effect of what it will be if they say this or do this. They don't think of the effect of what would happen after they do the thing that they were thinking of. And the girls, when they hear it from the males, they think of the way, they think it through, and they go through these stages of, oh, he does this, so I need to stop messing with him. Okay, I'm just chill on that.
I think she's just learning all about that because that's something that's been since the beginning of time. Like you tell little boys pull your hair if they like you and all of that different type of stuff. I think high school is a tough time for little girls because boys are trying to get their rocks off. May have some good ones, but in the end, they trying to get their rocks off. And they play emotional games. Girls tend to mature a little bit earlier. They're emotional creatures, and guys play on that. And if girls are not really smart or have anyone to have a conversation with about those different stages, what they'll say just to get at these things and those things, they'll get caught up in it. And if you have that conversation with your kids and they do get caught up in it, You have to understand that was their choice. That was their choice. So it's the same, baby.
Now, I just want to know because you're in high school, right? Middle
I'm
school.
on my way to
On your way to high school. My apologies. I got caught up in this.
That's right. Speaking into existence.
You're speaking into existence. But is sex pressured a lot at your age now with society, with boys today and today's boys?
Well, at my school and out of life, I think it is, but I don't deal with that stuff.
Understood.
Like Monty said, keep the cat for the right thing, for the right person.
Understood. Now, be it from, you being a single mother in certain book, because of men today, this is now why I'm coming and getting your perspective from being you a woman growing up from a teen to now a mother and a woman and a young powerful woman at that. Most guys, they try to go for the woman with the child and multiple kids grown, looking at her maybe as possibly in a characteristic maybe weak and easy to be deceived at the heart or taken advantage of. Do you feel sometimes that maybe because by you being a single mother and that burden of carrying everything on your shoulder, that you maybe sometimes when a guy approaches you, they're looking to probably look at you as to attack, to take advantage of in that sense? Do you feel that way sometimes when a guy approaches you that way?
No, I don't. I judge each occasion by their actions. Zebras can't change their stripes. They're gonna be what they are. You're gonna have those who are looking for a friendship. You're gonna have those who are just looking to have sex. You're gonna have those that just, everything's cool. Let's just have a good time. The varieties out there. There's so many different things are being accepted now. A lot of that is kind of like it's the same, but as the years go by, it changed. It has its little tweaks about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think about it like that.
Now, the reason why I'm asking all this is because, in today's society, we notice sex sells. In your music, you're seeing it as being exploited very graphically. In today's TV shows and even in advertisement, even on billboards, it's exploited greatly. And, I was doing a census watching on a couple of websites and on YouTube. I happened to see where you're seeing that it's told that, with the advertisement and things going today, that sex is changing the psyche of people's minds, especially those of the younger mind. And it's controlling them to be more prone in sex, in that aspect. So that's the reason why I was asking your aspect on boys and how they are growing up today and the pressures that they're coming with. And how I asked your aspect on men and how it is being a mother, a single mother, and your aspect on things because of how men are, and how their mental and their psyche is today and how they are approaching women, So that's why I was trying to ask that.
Well, I just, have you ever been approached?
Like what?
On anything sexual?
I am a beautiful person. It happens a lot as well.
Good
answer.
How does it make you feel?
I was like, I know I'm pretty, but I don't like you, and you should say
thank you.
They're like,
now, for you as a woman, do you feel that that's striking a lot more because in today's society, seeing how advertisement, life, and social media, how sex is practically almost everywhere and prominent. And men.
I think something like that would have a bigger impact on my oldest, who's trying to be grown. But on my baby girl, she listens.
No, we're saying as far as you. Really, personally, you and seeing men today.
I try to teach my kids the difference. You may see this, but understand what's deeper than what you're seeing. It's kind of like I remember when I was talking about I wanted to go and get me some J's just like such and such. And I wanted to go with them with their mom in the morning. So when the store opened, my mom's like, oh no, you'll be at school on time. You won't be checking in late for a pair of sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
And then, don't focus on that all the time because you don't know what they had to do to get them. You checking them out, how they living, where they living at, what that means or how they eat. It look like struggle, don't it? Well, why they walking with joys on their feet? She said, baby, look deeper than that. The proof is in the pudding. If you were worth the stuff that's on your back and on your feet, you ain't worth much.
Powerful message. Listen to that, ladies, right there. So all you young ladies out there that does not have knowledge about how it is when you're dealing with sex and life and men, these two women right here are giving you some game right now, dropping jewels on y'all right now as we speak. So definitely that's powerful information to give it that. And I really thank y'all on this interview today, dealing with society and single parenting living. And I definitely appreciate you bringing your daughter here and sharing this experience, because we wanted to get an in-depth insight about how it is being a single parent, being a mother, raising girls on their own. You know what I'm saying? How tough it is. And getting the insight how it is being a child, having a parent outside your home and a parent in home. Because by me being a father who raises a child that has a parent out home and a parent a parent out home, and I'm in home as a parent as well. So if people understand what I'm saying, meaning having a kid outside your house, for those that don't know, baby mama, baby daddy stuff. So I just had to get the insight on that, because that's powerful today. And for women today, nowadays, as a tidbit, what you want to give out to any insight for any girls out there today, young girls dealing with society today, or any struggles?
Do not be a follower, be a leader. Don't focus on what anybody else has. Think of what you can create and make. You can be the future.
All right. And for you, as far as for the young sisters out there that are young mothers or grown women out there that are trying to get their life in order, going through the struggles.
That's going through the struggle. You ain't always got to be in the struggle. It ain't gonna come out overnight. It's gonna be hard, but trust and believe it's gonna be fair. It's about what you're willing to put in for. Are you willing to work 2 jobs? Are you willing to give up getting your hair done, getting your nails done? Because it was a time that wasn't in my budget. Are you about trying to have a good time? Think about how much you paying to have a good time. Some places you pay to park. Then other places you pay to get in the door. Then you paying for drinks. Then you got to put some gas back in your car. Then you got a light bill due. Really? And you got kids. It's hard, but it's fair. And if you want it, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Get back up another damn day. And over time, I look back on my time right now, the struggle is over. The struggle is over. My kids ain't a baby and 3 years old anymore. 14 and 17. The struggle is over. Everything else from here, downhill. And 40 is going to be the new 20.
Hey. Now, another thing that I wanted to ask y'all today, as far as on what do you feel are your opinions and insights for, first we'll go with you, young girls today and the girl society and generation. How do you feel about your perspective with girls today? And influence about validation, because we see that on social media a lot. Girls are yearning a lot more for validation. They're taking pictures half naked. I see it. My Twitter feed. I have to ignore or block a lot of the stuff because the sex is just ridiculous. And Instagram, everything, even on Facebook. So for you being a teenager and a young girl, seeing these young girls growing up, going through, maturity and everything, and about validation today, is it important?
It's not important. By my perspective, it's not important, but to other people it might be important. When you see all these girls on Instagram half naked and trying to get validation, it basically shows an insecurity in them. It's not showing, oh, I love myself. You're basically showing an insecurity and having to exploit yourself all over social media.
Wow, that's powerful. Okay, and then also now, as far as young girls today, you see in just regular everyday life and in school, how do you feel about your aspects on teens and young girls today?